Or why don't you empower yourself and don't need them and do it yourself?
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Kanye.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Kanye.
I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what
You
more
ain't
than
got.
me? Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the answers.
Kanye,
you ain't got the answers.
I'm asking you.
You
a
ain't been doing the education,
bro.
You ain't been doing the education.
Kanye, calm down.
You don't have the answers though.
Calm down.
Because you trying to give me advice about something. You ain't got the answer. You ain't spent $13 million of your own money trying to empower yourself. Trying to empower yourself. Trying to empower yourself.
Frustrated genius. In this game, man, because it's just the evolution of your thoughts. And if you allow them to keep going, the boundaries that most people believe in their mind disappear. Then you start running into the real boundaries of other geniuses who have found a way to be in a position to lock shit down. This all came up because I was just looking at that Kanye West Sway, my partner Sway, interview. And I could feel the frustration coming out of Kanye. I could feel it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude is really saying, look, I did what you said. I know what you're saying. Why don't I go do this? I don't need these people. But, he's really trying to explain, you're stretching my genius. You're stretching me out. You know what I'm saying? I can't do music. The music brings the relevance. The relevance is the power. You know what I'm saying? I can't be doing 2 or 3 things at once. You know what I'm saying? That just spread me too thin. And he explaining it, and like I said, I got a newfound respect for Kanye nowadays, only because, you know what I'm saying, and I do agree with him when he said, hey, I've been this way my whole life. Not to say I liken myself to him at all. I'm not as creative as Kanye West is when it comes to the things he dabbles in. But realistically, it's what I tell all my friends and what my friends say about me. Freeman been this way since he was 16, 17. He's been saying this shit for a long, long time. So I learned something a long time ago that really helped me to not be in a position where I'm frustrated. And that position has always been, no matter how small you start off, it's mine. Because it's not that I need to blow up, because money will come as a result of my hustle, of my ideas, of my creativity. You know what I mean? What is really I have to watch out for is for other people pretty much capitalizing off of what I do. Other people frustrating what I do. You know what I mean? I watch what I bring in. I watch who I bring around me. I watch a lot of stuff because I got to maintain a upbeat, optimistic point of view. Some of you cats have been listening to the podcast for years, and you can always tell, some people could tell when I'm really going through some shit and when I'm really just happy, having a good time talking on the microphone. Today is one of those days where I'm not really, frustrated about anything, so you hear a much more clear, talkative, joking podcast that you've been hearing for a couple of months. That might not be the case next month or 2 months from now, 3 months from now. It is today. But when I talk about frustrated genius, see, the game how it's set up right now has most of these cats, like I tell you in the earlier podcast, you need people. If you need people to love you and pay attention to you in order for you to make money, you in trouble. Most genius expressed in art is to be appreciated. That's why they have art appreciation. So if you're an artist, that's your angle. That's just how the shit is. And of course, there are cats who are controlling of this art or the presenting of this art, whether that be the radio stations with the music, whether that be the museums and showing your art, whether it be people who interpret art and tell you that your shit is shit. You know what I mean? All this is interpretation and appreciation. So if your genius is tied into talent, which is how most African Americans get to show genius. That's one of the few avenues that they allow. What I always tell, they allow us to entertain. You understand what I mean? They allow us to be the court gestures. They allow us to be funny. They allow us to be singers. They allow us to be rappers. They allow us to define trends. They allow everything from black people in order to take advantage of us, but they don't want most of us on top. On the rise and grind, I always talk about on top. Now, don't get it twisted, homie. I grew up in Compton. I have the same what I consider to be young black male aspirations as anyone else. You know what I'm saying? I used to rap, wasn't good at it, dropped that shit. I played basketball for a long time, dropped that shit. You understand what I'm saying? Hustle became the thing that allowed me to have my freedom and show that I had creativity and knack in real time, homie. You know, I can build shit. And as that learning of hustle grew, you know what I'm saying? It started to manifest in me more of who I am and what I'm capable of. You know what I'm saying? So I see Kanye on the interviews and I'm always thinking, this is what this cat is really trying to say. Like, he can see so much more. You understand? But now he's running into that door. He's running into that glass ceiling. And the frustration that is coming from it is because he ran into another genius. Another cat at the gate who already have 50% of this, of all the record industry and 25% of all the clothing. And then the people who are in charge of the clothing at Macy's or whatever are in the pockets of these people. You know what I mean? And they are influenced by these people. And realistically, it's gatekeepers and people can't get in as much as they want. So, of course, I'm listening to my partner Sway, and Sway is explaining, why can't you just use the freedom that is out here? The freedom that's out here is the internet. The freedom that's out here is creating all these things for yourself. But again, we go back to the frustrated genius of Kanye saying, hey, I can't do all that because I can't be everywhere at once. I need top-rated, talent people to do these things. You're asking me to do every last part. He has what I think all creative geniuses have. And that is, let's use me as an example, but not as a genius. I can do a lot of things well. I can design a website. All the shit you see, I just did it myself. Everything you see on Rise and Grind podcast, these are all shit I sat down and learned myself. Now you're saying it's not that hard, but I got a business to run. I got places I need to be. I'm stretched all over the place, even with some of these podcasts. That's why some of my podcasts, I taped them months ago. Realistically, they're months ago. This one's a fresh one because you could tell I was just watching the thing, but I taped it months ago because I can have a thought, do the whole thing, lace the track, put the little hook in the beginning, the intro, drop it, move on, set it up on the thing to come out on a certain day. But frustrated genius is a problem because a frustrated genius looks crazy. And I think I talked about this last time Kanye was on the other Tim Westwood video where I said, you know, you don't understand him. You know what I'm saying? The dude is coming into his own. He understands himself and he's expressing to you what he's thinking. And the problem is you guys haven't come into your own, so it's harder to understand them. You know what I mean? You're not seeing what he's seeing. You ain't running into the crowds and the people he's been in. I always liken that when I tell cats that, you know, I can't be around this shit. I don't want to be around this shit because, you know what I'm saying, I done seen this shit before and I've been around these people and this is what they doing. You know, you don't understand what they got most black people thinking is the way out. You don't, you know, I'm trying to enlighten and, you know what I'm saying, when I was over there at the thing, getting, you know, selling the book physically with the Farrakhan thing. You know what I mean? It's the reason why I don't want to come out and sit down and Barnes and Nobles this shit and sit around all these people because, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather you hear it and absorb it. That's why the Rise and Grind is always a podcast. That's why the book comes out by itself. You know, you can get $1.15 on Amazon or whatever, right? And you remember when I said I wouldn't put the shit on Amazon, but I needed to reach more people. I knew I had to do something to get more shit out, straight up. And the thing is, you know, it becomes frustrating to try to explain it. So, unlike Kanye trying to throw everything into a half hour, because that's a lot of information this cat do in these interviews, you know, I try to break it off piece by piece. So this podcast, in the many hundreds of podcasts I've done, is another part of my thinking, right? Where if I did it all, you was like, damn, man, I can't even talk to this motherfucker Freeman about money, man. I can't talk to him about anything. This motherfucker just go off. You know what I'm saying? And we can't even work together. We can't even do nothing. This motherfucker brain all over the place. I always tell people, I consider my thinking to be much more like a dry cleaner. You ever been to a dry cleaner and they got all them clothes on that goddamn rack that's just going way into the back and coming up? Like, I got millions and millions of thoughts. I just learned how to take one off the rack and talk about this one shirt. You know what I'm saying? But I got millions and millions of thoughts and shit that I'm working on, and thought processes that pop in my head, and things that I'm trying to do to enlighten and show people that this is, you know what I mean, what this is what you're not seeing. This is how you should see it. This is how they playing you. This is how you should play this game. You know what I mean? But I understand that it would be better, which what I think Kanye's trying to tell you, you know, it would be better if I had the bigger platform, because then I wouldn't have to say this shit more than once. But that's the catch-22 of being a frustrated genius. See, in this game, man, when you a smart dude, and you read this in the Bible, they kill people in the crib, homie. They kill ideas and people who are smart in the crib. As long as Kanye wanted to remain a entertainer and overall entertainment all the way around, they gave him the platform. As soon as this cat starts thinking that I could take over, I'm way more than this, why should I wait for your thing? I've already proven it. He's running into, I think the best way he described it was classism. You know what I mean? It ain't racism because they let some people in. It's classism because maybe they don't want to let what I consider to be the rebel in. You understand what I mean? You let the rebel in, you got a goddamn problem. You can't control the rebel. And the rebel is a person who really can never be dealt with. And once you recognize that yourself as a frustrated genius is really a rebel, and what I mean by that is, you know what I mean? Rebel means it ain't gonna be no middle ground. You know what I'm saying? Rebel means that there's gonna be a new way. And so when I hear Kanye talk about these things, I'm always thinking like, he hasn't got to the point yet where he realizes that, fuck it, they aren't gonna let you play. Now what are we gonna do about it? What avenues do we have available? What ways can we set up our own independence? What way can we, you know what I mean, bring about this change without them and their ways? You know what I mean? And it is a harder road, and I hope the cat gets onto it. There's a reason why my book wasn't published by Penguin Publishing or something. Like, there's a reason why I'm on the podcast and you can get it for free. And I can curse and I can do whatever the hell I want, because I realized early that my own genius, and I ain't talking about genius in books, I'm talking about genius in my own understanding that makes me unique from other people. I don't want to go into a position where people are trying to harness it and control it and take it away from me and say this is good for you and tell me that a deal where I get 10% on the dollar is good for me. You understand what I mean? But they want to, because the majority of people, mostly brainwashed slaves, you want to be controlled. You want to be part of something. When the cat comes along and says, I don't want to be part of something, then it scares the fuck out of people. You understand what I mean? When I give you a good example, when I used to dwell in Bell in New York, right? I used to be around all these people, and you know, people wanted me to be very happy that I was so young and I was doing so well, and you know, I had my cousins, and we used to always go out and eat. And they always say, you know, you're the most humble, this and that. I said, no, I ain't really that humble. I just don't give a fuck about those things. And I don't want to be part of their fake ass society. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do this dumb shit. This shit is stupid. And you know what I mean? And one of my older cousins said, you know, you got to watch who you let recognize how smart and whatever you are. And you know, I'm young, I don't give a fuck. I got a gun on my side, motherfucker, I'll put you in. You know what I'm saying? Put you into where the devil is. Put you under the ground so you can be closer to him. But the thing is, I had to learn, you understand what I mean, that these avenues weren't mine. The avenues that most people think are to success aren't mine. I had to be creative, you know what I mean, and use my own ways of making money and manipulating certain things and being in certain places, and I had to be disciplined, because I had to learn how to control myself and say the right thing for the right moment for the right person, so I can get right away to where I want to go. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn these things, and I think, you know what I'm saying, all roads end at independence. You've heard me say that plenty of times, man, because you can't make deals with motherfuckers who deal making is to control you. It's like going on that goddamn show, the Shark Tank. I keep telling you, when you see this shit, like, this is the devil in action. You come up with something 100%. You come over them, you trade away your company or parts of your company to be famous, and these devils keep making the same money. So the same dude can do 100 companies, and now he owns pieces of 100 companies, and he get paid 100 more times than your ass. And that's his game, because all of the money funnels through these same motherfuckers. All of the money funnels through these same 4 or 5 banks. All of the music industry funnels through the same 4 or 5 companies. They got the shit on lock. All of the planes you fly are the same 4 or 5 airlines. You understand what I'm saying? It's like everything is a monopoly disguised as freedom. And most cats, like I said with Kanye, he sees it. Most of you cats don't see this shit. You just accept it, but you see it, he sees it. I don't have the manufacturing capabilities of this shit to rival these motherfuckers. He sees it. Like, you don't know. You know, when he's screaming that way, like, you don't got the answer. You don't got the answer. He's letting them know, like, you don't understand the enormity of this shit. The how big, how devious, how, you know what I'm saying, how the motherfuckers in charge who really got all these chips, you know what I'm saying? So it was, I didn't even heard of none of these dudes before, because he telling you things that I talk about on the Rise and Grind. Like, if Forbes tells you the richest people in the world, well, who's the motherfucker who owns Visa? Like, or General Electric? Like, who are these people? But there's an illusion given, and I think when you see Kanye, he understands that fucking illusion. You know what I'm saying? He's starting to see it, like he's running into it, like his own genius is running into the next genius. And the problem with that is, geniuses don't share. They got shit on lock. He's gonna have to learn what I learned, and that is there is no other way but to create something of your own. These podcasts that I tell you about every Monday or whenever, this one might come out shit tomorrow. Just for the sake of putting it out there. But, you know, these podcasts, it's because I'm doing this on purpose. I'm building, through your mind, through your children, through your grind, a new way of thinking. And that new way of thinking will allow people like me, and me, for myself, to operate more clearly, more freely. You know, for you to be able to see that there's a bigger game going on right here. That, you know what I'm saying, I'm from Cali, and another dude from New York, and I don't want no goddamn dumb East Coast, West Coast beef. That's like me fighting over a girl when I was, 10 or something. That's how childish this shit is. To prove to motherfuckers we don't know that we tough. That shit is stupid. I'm beyond that. But you gotta understand, as being a genius, and even being frustrated, that God has given you the ability to think around these motherfuckers. And that's what your duty is on this earth. To find these blocked entrances, these gates, and to not only teach what you know to those who do not know, but and teach yourself. Take it on yourself. You know, if you're this smart, you're this strong, you take on more weight than more people. I turn around and put it on a podcast and say, this is what I see. You see it now? You know what I'm saying? I do my duty to get us out of a certain way of thinking so that cats can build and I can build. I don't want to be thought of as a martyr, because that's why I keep a gun on my side. I'm willing to die, but it's just gonna go out in a blaze of glory because I'm blasting. So I put that out there to let you know I ain't one of them Christian super Muslim people who just feel that Allah will provide. I know He did. He provided me with the mic and everything else to get my message out, and He also provided me with a gun to toe tag you motherfuckers if you come after it. So. You understand what I'm saying? It's a thing of understanding that once you have this kind of genius, homie, you gotta think your way out of other geniuses' way, and you'll run into them, and they see you coming. That's why I told you in the beginning, they kill geniuses in their crib. They tell you this stuff in the Bible. You're seeing it wrong. Your preacher got you seeing it a different way, but realistically, they're saying they're killing threats to a way of life or a way of thinking in their crib. You understand what I mean? They're coming after the people. They're going to destroy him. So if we look at Kanye, what are they doing? When he's talking about all the frustration he's going through, they're overcharging him. They're this. They're talking about him. They think he's gay because he wears a kilt. You know what I mean? They're assassinating his character, and they're going to destroy his base. So that at the end of the day, you think of Kanye as a crazy man. And that's what they do. And if they can't do all that, then you might see them get killed. I mean, don't ever think that the same people aren't thinking at the end of the day, we might as well just kill this motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? But when you're a frustrated genius, for the rest of us coming, for you who listening in these corners of the world that I'm not at, and I might not ever run into you, you can't say, why don't they let me in, and why, you know why they won't let you in. So make a plan and think about how you're going to get around this shit as you see it coming. When you listen to the Rise and Grind, I do my job to throw the shit way out in front of you so you can see it coming, so you can say, yeah, that's what, okay, yeah, you know, I'm get out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? But there is no sharing of this game, of this money, of a way of life, of making motherfuckers all of a sudden get up and wear pink, and then a million things that are in pink get sold, and you make billions and billions of dollars. This is like a mafia game, and motherfuckers are making real moves to always be in charge of the things that make money. If you know history of money, these tycoons, J. Paul Getty and all them, they used to be monopolies, right? Oligopolies. You know what I'm saying? Titans of industry. That means no one competed with them. They bought everybody out. These motherfuckers still exist today, but they can't stop. They need young geniuses to come in and influence things and give them more ways to make money. And that's why they set up a system in which you're still in slavery, and all you think about doing is turning around, taking your talent. I'm going to take my talents to the Miami Heat. You know what I'm saying? He can't take his talents to himself. He got to take his talents somewhere else to be used, to be manipulated. This was a rant too. Hope it wasn't as bad as Kanye West, but it just dawned on me. I said, I better put this shit out while I'm thinking about it. All right, next time, partner.